Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are on Wednesday, November 15th. We're going to take a look at Baba today. So with earnings coming up, I thought we would take a look and see, based on Baba's response, or I guess the market's response to Baba's earnings, does it boom, does it bust, or does it move sideways? What levels might come into play and what that might look like based on the chart. So of the utmost importance to me is, Baba several months ago now, I guess toward the beginning of the year, was up here around 121. Was obviously much higher than that many months and years ago. But in any case, it was up around 121. It's been caught under this downtrend resistance ever since. It's now in, under sort of like a subset of that at the moment, maybe trying to break out of this most recent downtick. So it needs to overcome, this downtrend resistance to have any sustained effort or any attempt toward a trend reversal or even trend neutralization. There's a couple of breakout attempts here and it just couldn't muster the strength to get through. So that's the dominant factor to me. And it's not that far away from it at the moment where, a really nice reaction to earnings couldn't push it through. The thing is, just to note, if it does push through, what I would want to see if I'm a Baba bull is for it to get some distance from this downtrend resistance because it's been under such distress for so long. Again, if we zoom out, you see all of this, crazy downturn. My worry would be it breaks through, maybe it catches resistance here, and then it just kind of starts to bleed back down toward the downtrend resistance and eventually maybe falls into it or follows it down on the outside of it. That would be my concern. That said, if it comes up, gets some distance from it, or even sidesteps its way through and gets, a good distance away from it, where it would have to be a catastrophic fall for it to get back underneath, that's what I would be looking for if it does break that downtrend resistance. So that's of, like I said, the utmost importance to me as a bull. If it does stay relatively sideways, this 86.29 might be a level that it kind of just sort of stays near into. If it does start to pump up, 95 would be a potential level. 103 would be a potential level. And there's some levels in between here, but in an effort to not clutter the chart too much, I didn't put in all of the levels in between. So just, be aware of that. Now, if it does, recede down below 86.29, 79.02 is a level that could come into play. But like I said, there's going to be some levels just before then that we might see it try to catch support on. And like I said, if it moves sideways, that could even run it into this downtrend resistance relatively quickly. So that might become a factor whether it booms or has a relatively sideways reaction. Now flipping over here on the ThinkorSwim study, of interest, we see back here when it left the upper bound of the channel and had that big swing up to 121, we had this trigger and fire that took place. Now it had been moving up a bit prior to that, but then it consolidated here, and you see down here in the TTM squeeze indicator, it started to trigger while it was condensing along the mid-range of the channel. When it fired, it really took off, and that brought the price from about $89 up to that 121. So huge call out, great move there by the TTM squeeze indicator. And then, of equal but opposite volatility, actually, if you would have seen it leave the channel and turn back in toward the channel and played the downside, expecting it to come down and press the mid-range of the channel, you would have done a really good job riding it down if you rode it the whole way, which is improbable, but 121 down to, $80 or so. So, I mean, again, huge shifts. Since then, it has been relatively sideways. Since it was down at this low here, it's not that far away from that price point today, $87 versus down here at about 81. So relatively sideways action. And again, the reason I bring up that trigger and fire is this trigger and fire has yielded nothing so far. So sometimes what we see when it's pinning itself to the mid-range of the channel here, and just kind of condensing. Yes, there's some pushes even out of the channel, but they're, relatively compressed price zone, and it just sort of continuously reverts to the mid-range of the channel and even presses up toward the upper bound of the channel. So it's just kind of playing the channel at the moment, but predominantly sticking near to the mid-range. Now it triggered back here, fired, and basically nothing happened. I mean, this is a nothing move. That's why I showed you the other one to say, like, that's a real, impressive move. So to me, I would be looking for maybe a retrigger and a refire to provide some fireworks, if you will, and that could be an opportunity for a bigger play to emerge. Sometimes we see a trigger and a fire, nothing really happens, and then on the retrigger and the refire, that's when the move really comes. So again, sort of wait and see, and maybe a reaction to earnings will help sort of get us closer to the next trigger and fire. All right, folks, I hope that you have had a happy hump day, and as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.